This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Why is it that the quiet of a random Wednesday afternoon feels so much heavier after you retire?
Well, Lachlan Brown argues that it's because we lose what he calls ambient community. All those people who weren't exactly friends but were part of our daily narrative suddenly vanish.
Right, like the security guard who knows you take your coffee black, or the colleague who always asks about your kids. You don't see them outside work, but they make you feel noticed.
Exactly. They provide a sense of belonging through proximity. Once you're out of the office, those transactional relationships just evaporate.
It sounds like a total identity crisis, too. Going from Dave from sales to just Dave at home is a lot to process.
It really is. He mentions a neighbor who goes to the grocery store just to buy a single banana, mostly so a cashier will ask if you found everything okay. It's that basic human need to be seen.
So, how do people cope? Is it just about staying busy?
It's about finding new containers for connection. One executive started going to the same coffee shop at 8:30 every morning until the regulars started nodding to him. It's building rhythms that aren't based on a paycheck.
The quiet might be tough, but maybe it's finally the time to hear yourself think.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
If we're all going to live to be 100, who's actually going to be there to share it with us?
It is a real concern that Michael Clinton explores. Loneliness isn't just about feeling sad. It actually increases risks for hypertension, heart disease, and stroke, especially for those over 65 who might be leaving their careers or losing spouses.
Right, so it's a health issue as much as a social one. I've heard that term social fitness popping up lately.
Exactly. Robert Waldinger from the Harvard Study of Adult Development says it's just as vital as physical exercise. His research, which has followed people since 1938, shows that relationship satisfaction is the single best predictor of a healthy life.
Okay, but how do you stay socially fit when you're older and maybe your circle is shrinking? It feels like we just tuck older people away in their own separate buildings.
That's a huge barrier. Groups like Cogenerate are trying to fix that by bridging the age gap. They have programs like Mama Mentorship in Appalachia, where older women and junior high girls learn from each other.
That sounds way more natural than just sitting around talking about aches and pains. I like the idea of high school kids and seniors in LA recording stories together, too.
Yeah, that's the Koreatown Storytelling Program. And for those who are more isolated, technology is stepping in. There's this AI care companion called LEQ that helps people in their 60s or even up to 103 stay independent and less lonely.
A robot friend? It sounds like science fiction, but I guess if it keeps someone engaged, it's a win.
It's really about finding any bridge to connection as we age, whether it's a civic plan in Miami like Empower 60 or a digital chaperone on a platform like Eldera. The goal is keeping that social life as a living, breathing system.
It makes you think about how we should be investing in our friendships now to prepare for that 100-year life.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever wondered why so many friendships just evaporate the moment someone retires?
Right. Evelyn Hart actually looked into this, and it turns out 1 in 4 adults over 65 are socially isolated. It's not just a bummer, it's a huge health risk, like smoking or obesity.
1 in 4? That's huge. But these people usually have full calendars before they stop working, right? What changes?
Well, there's this insurance professional who had lunch with colleagues 3 times a week for years. Once he retired, the silence was almost immediate because their bond was built on the office coffee pot, not actual connection.
So it was just proximity then. And you mentioned health risks. How does just being lonely affect your body like smoking does?
The National Academies report found it's a vital sign. Chronic loneliness can actually damage your immune system and increase the risk of heart disease or even dementia.
That's heavy. Is there any way to tell if a friendship is actually going to last once the routine is gone?
The standard seems to be if people remember your needs without you asking. That insurance guy actually had one friend stay in his life, but only because they both put in the work to meet for breakfast once a month.
So it really comes down to choosing to be there rather than just being in the same room. It's a tough lesson on what counts as a real tie.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever stopped to think about How many of your friendships would actually survive if you changed jobs or moved to a new city tomorrow?
That is exactly what Daniel Moran talks about. He explains this concept of a quiet audit that usually hits people in their 60s, where they realize most of their connections were just built on circumstance, not character.
Right, like those friends you only see because your kids play soccer together, or you share the same office cubicle.
Exactly. Moran points to research by Laura Carstensen, a psychologist at Stanford, who says we hunt for wide social networks when we are young to find opportunities. But as we age, we start to prioritize emotional depth over just having a lot of acquaintances.
So we are basically foragers in our 20s, collecting people like business cards. But then what happens when the kids grow up or we retire?
Well, that is when the pruning happens. A study tracking life transitions showed that while family ties usually hold, friendships often decline sharply unless both people put in real effort to stay connected.
It sounds like a tough reality check. How do we know which ones are actually based on character then?
Character-based ones are different. They survive long gaps without resentment, and they do not depend on you staying the exact same version of yourself you were when you first met.
I suppose it is better to have 3 real ones than a huge network that disappears when the easy parts of life drop away.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
It's high time we look at how our social connections aren't just a luxury, but a fundamental necessity for our brain's health.
Oh, absolutely. According to SciPost, new research in the Journal of Affective Disorders shows loneliness actually triggers an accelerated drop in cognitive function.
Okay, so this wasn't just comparing lonely people to non-lonely people from the start. They tracked the shift as it happened?
Right. Researchers at Gannon Medical University focused on what they call new onset loneliness to see if the decline happens before or after that feeling hits.
And did the decline start before they felt lonely? Like, could the memory loss be causing the isolation?
Actually, no. Before the loneliness set in, their cognitive trajectories were basically identical to everyone else's.
So it's like a sharp turn. The moment they feel lonely, the decline just speeds up?
Exactly that. Memory, word recall, even basic orientation like knowing the date started slipping much faster.
That's heavy. Is it the stress of it? The physiological impact on the brain?
Well, chronic emotional distress can spike cortisol, which is actually toxic to memory centers over time. Plus, you lose that mental workout you get from just talking to people.
Right. Social interaction is like a gym for the brain. Were certain groups more at risk than others?
Yeah, the drop was steeper for women, older participants, and people with heart issues like angina. It's like the physical and emotional stress compound each other.
Okay, but is there a way back? If someone finds community again, does the brain stabilize?
The data suggests so. Those who recovered from loneliness actually saw their cognitive decline slow back down. It really shows that rebuilding those bridges is a vital health intervention.
We have to start seeing social health as a core pillar of medical checkups. If we can catch that loneliness early, we can protect the person's future.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Loneliness has been officially designated as a public health crisis by the U.S. Surgeon General.
Right. Francis Kim of the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health is addressing this directly through a new community initiative. Research now clearly links social isolation to serious risks like heart disease and cognitive decline.
It is striking how isolation impacts physical health as much as mental well-being. It even shortens lifespans.
Exactly. Kim is focusing on the quiet nature of this epidemic. Unlike a sudden illness, isolation is often invisible, particularly for older residents. Her work aimed to identify these hidden struggles and provide practical ways to build daily connections.
This seems to be part of a much larger regional effort by the county.
Okay, yes, it falls under the Take Action movement. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, the county is deploying experts to local centers to help residents make the small changes needed for a more productive life. These public sessions are vital for moving mental health resources out of clinical settings and into the community. It is a necessary step for public health.
A practical approach to a complex social problem.
AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever wondered why someone can be surrounded by family and friends, but still feel completely alone?
It is a real issue. Alison Fisher writes that for millions of older adults, the hardest loneliness comes from a mismatch between who they are now and how society sees them.
Right. So it is not just about having fewer visitors, but more about people getting stuck on an old version of you.
Exactly. Family members often rely on old roles, like the strong mother or the tireless professional. They miss the new fears or physical limits that come with aging.
Okay. I can see how that would make someone feel invisible. It is like being treated as a character in a memory instead of a person in the room.
That is exactly it. A 2025 study found that this type of isolation affects nearly 28% of older adults globally.
So how do we fix that connection? Is it just about asking better questions?
Actually, yes. Updating bonds involves recognizing that identity keeps evolving. We need to listen to their current desires and new routines without trying to fix everything.
It sounds like we just need to let people grow, even as they age.